Hey everybody, how's it going? Tim Eister here, and welcome back to Gasparilla in episode 3 of the series. Today's episode is going to be pretty cool as I'm going to start working on a very Florida-esque neighborhood. If you live in Florida, you know exactly what I mean. These huge swaths of suburbs that are just along the coast that are filled with canals and little ponds and that kind of thing. You know, the neighborhoods that all the tourists from Canada come to, and they rent homes in these neighborhoods for like a month at a time. But before I get started on that neighborhood, I need to do a little bit of terraforming on this map, and thanks to this new water manager mod, I'm able to do that. This wasn't an option like last week before PDX mods was out, and as I was progressing through the series, I was noticing that my rivers were drying up, and I think that's just a matter of me not placing these water spawners correctly when I was making this map, or not spawning enough of them. So basically the only water that was remaining on this map was within these little channels here, and all of the surrounding river was just completely dried up. So like I said, using this new water mod, I'm able to place spawners all over the map to raise the water level just ever so slightly consistently across the entire map, and to make it what it should be. Now, spoiler alert, after recording this episode, I did notice that the water level actually goes too high, and I end up flooding a couple of places in town. So a lot of work went into this map to get the water level just right. Now, I read that there's actually seasons, well, I mean, obviously there's seasons in the game, but I read that the seasons actually affect the water level in this game. Now, I don't know by how much, so maybe it was just a factor of the seasons changing in the game, although this is like a tropical map where it's just always warm. But, you know, there's still seasons in tropical areas too, right? Like some places might have a wet season and a dry season. So in retrospect, I'm kind of wondering, maybe I was just in the middle of a dry season, so the water level recedes, and then it's just automatically going to come back up during the wet season. So hopefully by placing these spawners, I'm not going to make a huge mess out of this map if there is such a thing as a wet season in this game. But yeah. Anyways, so this is actually a pretty easy mod to use, thankfully. You have 4 different types of spawners, and I'm basically just plopping a bunch of these lake well, I mean, you can use them for rivers too, but the spawners that I'm plopping here are the lake spawners. But I'm putting them in the river, and it's just slowly gonna, you know, the water from these rivers are just slowly gonna make their way out to the coast. But as you can see, yeah, I'm already kind of flooding out this area as is, but thankfully it's super easy to adjust the height of these spawners. And it's really fun. It's a cool mod because you have so much flexibility, and you can just add lakes and rivers onto your map to your heart's content. The biggest challenge is just making sure that you don't flood out your entire map. Anyways, so I'm just about to wrap up the water terraforming here, guys, and then we'll finally get started on the actual focus of this episode, which is the Floridian coastal neighborhood. So sit back, grab a coffee, and enjoy the episode, guys. And also, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Alright guys, we're back in town, and actually while I was working on my river, I just noticed that my low density residential demand is on the rise. So that means that I am going to be able to start building my neighborhood that I've been wanting to build for, well, the last 2 episodes. But first, I want to take a piece of advice that you guys gave me. Multiple of you guys have said, why don't I just give in and plop some high density residential demand in the low rent format? And that is actually a really good idea, guys. I don't know why I didn't think of that. My brain was just defaulting to like, oh, as soon as I plop down some high density housing, it's gonna make these huge skyscrapers. But no, that's not always the case. Low rent housing is another good alternative if you don't want to have like super tall buildings. And in fact, Gasparilla is the perfect town for some low rent housing right now, just because of, you know, stores are kind of struggling to find customers right now. And, you know, Gasparilla County right now is not a very rich place, right? So having affordable housing is very good for the town at the moment. To make sure that I don't plop any like massive skyscrapers, I'm just gonna build one over here near this school. I'm just gonna build some little tiny zones dotted around town because I don't want anything to like overshadow our nice little skyline. So maybe I'll plop a little 3x3 over here as well. And then that should start building. So yeah, as you can see, these little 3x3 zones are not super tall, right? And the fact that I'm building them kind of dotted around town is going to make them even less obvious. But look at that, just with these 2 zones, this was enough to get rid of that high density residential demand altogether. There's just nothing left. So perfect. Thanks so much for that suggestion, guys. I hadn't thought of that at all. Now, I'm going to take another one of your suggestions, and this one is coming from Malacheese9214, and he explains how to create a proper intersection between these highways here and this avenue. So as you can see, the way that I did it creates 2 separate intersections, and this is terrible because we have like 2 sets of lights. They're not timed. It's just a big mess. So thankfully, there is a way around this, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So we're going to delete this entire intersection here, and in its place, I am going to create, I guess, a fake interchange, we'll call it, without connecting them to the main roads here. So it should look a little something like this. And then what we're going to do is build a very large roundabout. And now we will delete this, both of these roads. And I'm going to go back into my highways and connect them up to our roundabout. Oh, this one's a little bit of a tight angle, but that should work. Okay, so now that we have all our roads set up, I am going to bulldoze the roundabout, and look at that, guys. Isn't that marvelous? This is our interchange. Now, sometimes you have to clean them up a little bit. Like in this case here, I might have to delete this road and then connect it up again. Then sometimes you can like drag these out a little bit if you want, like these little turning lanes. Just like that, and then I'll do the same on the other side. And look at that, guys. Look how wonderful that is. Look how beautiful of an intersection this is. Now, not only that, I can go here and convert this into a 3-lane. And what this does is it creates a dual turning lane. So you can have 2 cars turning left onto this 4-lane road here. Now, that wouldn't be an option if you just had like a 2-lane road running through here. It would only create a 1 single left turn lane. That is really cool, guys. Thank you for Malacheese for sharing that tip. And actually, I'm going to apply that same thing over here. Might as well. I may have to destroy some of these businesses here, but that's okay. I'll just rebuild them. So I'll get rid of all of this. And I will build my fake interchange. Just like this. And then what you want to do here is you want to kind of get this avenue right down the middle, right through the median, so it's easier to create your roundabout, or to connect these segments of highway to your roundabout. So we'll get rid of that. Oh, shoot. That is not what I wanted to do. Here, I'll just line this up. There. There we go. There. So what I want to do here is connect this road like this. And I'll just go ahead and do a 3-laner here. Yep, just like this. Same thing over on this side. And bam, there we go. There we have it. And then I think what I'll do is clean this up a little bit. And the reason why I'm doing this is because you can see here as I drag this avenue, like I showed you the last time, like if I drag it too far, then I feel like this intersection is just a little too sharp, right? So if you just want to have it a little curvier so it flows better, you can extend it a little bit outwards like that. There. So it does create a little bit of a messy interchange. There's a lot of lines, a lot of things. You typically wouldn't find this in Florida. In Florida, it's just kind of like anarchic, right? There's just, you have your intersection. Sometimes you'll have these little left turn lane lines, but nothing to this extent. All right. So now I'm going to rebuild my little alleys here. But I think what I'll do, instead of connecting this up directly to this 4-lane road, because then it's going to create 2 intersections really close to each other, I'm just going to contour this building here. I mean, this building's probably going to be demolished anyways, but I'll just add some more zones like this. And then I'll go do the exact same thing over on this side. I'll bring it right up to here. And I guess I'll just do this. And I'll fill this in with zones again. And then I want to remove the lights here. Oh, I had anarchy on the entire time, but it should still work. And there we go. So there you have it, guys. Now, I could maybe try it with a smaller roundabout. I think it would make it a little tighter, because as you can see, these lights here are quite far back. I would have to give it a try. I haven't tried it yet, but if one of you guys wants to try it, certainly let me know. Awesome, guys. Well, things are looking all right in town, so we're still getting a lot of complaints from businesses not having enough customers. So I want to provide them with more customers. So I'm going to start to work on this neighborhood over here, finally. I've been wanting to start this ever since the very start of this series. And the reason I'm so excited to start this neighborhood is I want to make it a classic Floridian coastal neighborhood with a series of canals and little ponds and things like that. So let's get into that. So what I'm going to want to do here is I'm going to change this up a little bit. So I'm going to bring my road in a little closer here. Remove some of these bushes out of the way. And then I want this road to turn in. Oh, not a 3-lane. It's a 4-lane. There, so let's do that. And then that should set us up for our neighborhood. So what I'm going to start by doing now is creating a series of canals that's going to run through here. So this road that goes through here will kind of be the main street. So this is just going to go straight through. But what I got to do first is create some canals. Now, I know this is going to be a pain in the butt if I don't remove all these trees. So I'm going to do that first. Now, I wish there were a mod. There may already be one out there. If so, let me know. But it would be cool if there was a mod that no matter which type of tree you selected, you could remove like all trees. Similar to the tree controller in Cities Skylines 1. Now in Cities Skylines 2, you're only able to remove the same type of trees, like one type of tree at a time. It's not going to remove like everything. So you just gotta kind of go and manually remove everything. Yeah, I gotta remove all these oak trees. Oh, those were all... Oh, that's right. Those weren't even bushes. There was a big fire here, which killed a lot of trees. So they're kind of just brought back to their baby state. There, so I know I have palm trees here. Oh yeah, got lots of palm trees. There, as long as I remove the majority of the trees here, it should be fine. I think there was a lot of pine trees as well. Yeah, there's a bunch of those too. There, so I know there's still a bunch of little bushes and stuff everywhere. That's all right, I'll just deal with those individually. All right, so let's get started on the canal system, which I don't know how this is gonna go. This is my first attempt at this, guys. But I have a rough idea on how I want to do this, so I'm just gonna check. I might want to lower this entire area, but at the same time, I think it's probably good. Like, what about over here? Actually, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna lower this entire neighborhood to this height, I think. Just gonna make it a little easier to make these canals. I'm just hoping that the river or like the bay is not gonna rise or else this entire area will be flooded, which wouldn't be inaccurate, I guess. Florida is no stranger to crazy flooding. There, so let's get rid of all this. And then here's what I'll do. I'll just select move it. I'll just select all these nodes. And I'll have to do this just by eyeballing it, but I'm gonna lower this where to? Probably about right there. That should be fine. Then I'll go ahead and do the same over here. I think over here is pretty much just this piece of road. Yeah, that should be fine. There. Oops. Oh, jeez. Now I gotta get rid of all these bushes. There we are. Okay. And then I'm just gonna smooth this out a little bit, just so we have a nice transition. All right, guys, so now let's get started on the canals. So I have a good idea on how this is gonna work. So I'm going to increase my brush strength a little bit, and I think 30 is probably a good size for some of these canals. So I'm gonna start over here. I don't wanna make them too deep, because then it's gonna make it's gonna give me a hard time to smooth everything out. So let's just bring everything straight on like this, trying to make this canal as straight as possible. And I think I'll bring it up to like over here. Actually, you know what would be cool is if I made this like into a little island or something. If I connected this up over here. And then this road is gonna come through here. So what I'm gonna want to do is this. And first I want to make sure of something. How, just so I get a proper sense of scale. If I build a road in between here, so that means there's gonna be enough room for about a 3x3 house. And now if I bring this road through here, it'd be like, yeah, some 3x4s or 3x2s or 2x4s. All right, yeah, that should work. And then, yeah, over here, maybe I'll do like a little island here on the end, or actually I could build a bridge. Actually, I think a bridge would look cool here. Yeah, just a little something like this. Connect this up just like that. And now here's gonna be a little bit of a challenge, I think, because this is so low. I'm gonna have a hard time creating a bridge here, but I think I may have a solution. If I just go for it, it's gonna create a little bridge like this, but as you can see, the water, it's not like actually a bridge. But what if I take these two nodes and raise them up pretty high, and then I'll delete this section of road, and then I will rebuild it. And is that gonna give us a proper bridge? No, it doesn't look like it will. What if I try this? Okay, so this is actually a good mod showcase opportunity. So if I go in my roads menu here and up to road services, you'll see that I have a ton of new roads that aren't available in the base game. So mod showcase opportunity. By the way, I love the fact that I can access Paradox mods directly from the game. This is really, really good. So this mod is actually called, and this is Paradox Mods, by the way, guys. I've never shown it before on my channel, so if you've never seen it before, this is what it looks like. So you can just browse through a whole plethora of mods. There's a total of 826 at the moment, which isn't very much, but that number is eventually going to go up. Yeah, so here's the mod, guys. This is the extended road upgrades, and essentially what it allows you to do is change the type of road that you've plopped down. So if you want to create like keys, it makes it easier. If you want to create retaining walls, this mod makes it easier. I can convert like any segment of road into a bridge if I want to. Unfortunately, in this case, it doesn't seem to want to work, but this is not the mod's fault. I think it's just the game's mechanics that are just not working with me right now. Let me try maybe raising this a little higher, and then hopefully we can get a bridge out of this. Oh, yeah, looks like it might work. Oh, no. Maybe the problem is these roads are just not separated far apart from each other. Here, let's maybe bring them farther apart like this. And okay, there we go. Now we got a nice bridge. So now I'm just gonna select this, lower this back down to ground zero, and maybe I'll just shorten it up a little bit. There, that is wonderful, guys. So now we have a nice little canal bridge. This bridge over here is fine, I think. I might actually raise it up just a little bit. Oh, the undo button works. Awesome. There, I'll just raise it up because this river's a bit wider. There. And let's keep going. Let's work on our road network. Here, actually, I'm going to bring this up to here, and then I'll have this turn like this. There we go. And then over here, I'll do this. And then I think maybe I'll try to add a little pond here. I don't know, it might be too small. Hey, what do you think of that, guys? Not bad, eh? Not bad for a rookie. Now, I think what I'll do is these jagged edges are not very appealing, so I'm gonna smooth them out, hopefully. So just using the soften terrain tool, I'm just gonna go here and see how this works. Oh wow, it actually seems to work all right. So I'm just gonna have to go over all of these canals and smooth them all out. And see if they retain their width, which it looks like they are. Yeah, I think this is gonna work pretty good. There, so I will go over all these canals and patch them all up. Okay, there we go. And I think just to speed things up, I am going to put some water spawners here. Here I will put... Actually, should I do... No, not a border river. Stream, constant or variable rate water source. The flow rate will be constant. Seasonal streams. Okay. I don't really know much about that. I'll just do a lake, because this is the spawner that seems to have worked best for me. Now I'm going to reduce the radius for this lake, and boop. I'm just going to build a little pond. I'm going to smooth it out just ever so slightly. There. That looks a little better. These canals seem to be filling in pretty nicely. But I'll go ahead and plop a spawner over here too anyways. Oh, I think this one's too small here. Let's do radius a little bigger. I'll put it a little higher. Maybe one over here as well. And we shall see how this is going to turn out. So I'm going to skip ahead, guys, until these canals are all filled up with water, and then we can finally start building the actual neighborhood. Well, it appears that I've inadvertently created something that resembles a turtle. This was totally unintentional, but I actually kind of like it. So I think I'll name this area like Turtle Island or something, or if you guys want to come up with a name down in the comments, feel free, and I'll try to incorporate that in this build. So our next step for now is going to be building our road layout. So for this entire area, I'm going to be using these small alleys. And as you can see, I'm going to make room for various sizes of houses with all these different sized lots. All right, now let's start zoning. So this is not going to be too complicated. This entire region is just going to be pretty much residential. Maybe I'll have a couple of stores on the extremities, like right over here by the highway, but the vast majority of this entire subdivision will be residential. No, I can't do this because this is not adjacent to the road. Maybe I can fix this. Here, let's, oops. I kind of messed that one up. Here, let's destroy this. And then, from here, I don't even know if I can connect these zones to this road. But let's try it. Let's use the old path trick. Let's just try to run a path in the back here. I don't even think there's enough room. Oh, there is. Oh, that's fantastic, guys. There. So we'll have some little 2x2 homes. Same as over here on this side. 2x3s. There. And we can't be afraid to leave some spaces between these houses, right? It doesn't have to be like all filled in. Right? There can be a little bit of green space and some trees and stuff between these houses. As I'm zoning away here, I can't get too carried away and forget to put some parks. So let's plop down a couple of large parks around this brand new neighborhood. Now, I'm a little constrained on space because these streets are laid out in a very tight fashion. But I suppose I could try to fit, well, maybe instead of a large park, let's do maybe a series of small parks. That might be a better option. So I'll put one over here. And then I'll put one over here. And then maybe a couple of small playgrounds. Yeah, maybe I'll do like a small playground over here. A dog park as well. Actually, I'm going to reduce the brush size. And then I'll flatten this out a little bit. And this would be a perfect spot for a dog park. Bam, there we go. So I got a nice collection of parks now. Actually, before I go any further, I've been thinking about this and I've been putting it off. I need a park maintenance depot because things are not going to go too well here if I totally forget to put this. And actually, the best place for this would be over here near our helicopter depot. And let's see what kind of upgrades we can do to this building. We can have an extra garage, which gives us 5 more vehicles, or we can do a supply storage, which basically increases availability of supplies, allows maintenance vehicles to work for longer. I gotta be conscious here with my spending. You know, we're in the red by quite a bit. And the government subsidies aren't always going to be there to cover my butt, so I gotta watch out. But I think as the city starts to expand and we start to get like a lot more people moved in, we should be going back into the green. But anyway, so for now, I'm just going to keep on going here with the zones. There, so I pretty much zoned all of my American-themed waterfront housing. So now let's switch over to some European-style housing, and for this, I've reserved the coast for these houses. So these are a little bit more bougie. I don't know, I feel like the European houses just look a little bit more luxurious. So with that, these houses are going to be right along the coast. Yeah, maybe just a small one here. And then we'll have a nice bunch over here too. Now it looks like I may have just capped out on my demand. It looks like I might not be able to build any more. But as you can see, I do have some high density residential demand. So maybe if I plop just one more low rent housing building somewhere else in town, maybe like over here, you know, by the cemetery, over in this corner here. I'll do another 3x3. Nothing too crazy. Like, this isn't very tall. It's not going to ruin anything. And look at that. Just like that, boom, no more high density residential demand. All right, guys. Well, this is Turtle Island in its completed form. However, there's still a few blank spaces here and there with housing still waiting to be built. But everything's pretty much at a standstill right now. My demand just dwindled down to nothing. And, well, despite building all of this new residential over here, unfortunately, the town is still struggling with some of the issues that we saw since the last episode. Pretty much all of the issues left over are not enough customers for these businesses. So, in an attempt to fix all of these businesses, I went as far as completely removing my commercial tax, and unfortunately that is not helping. So there's probably a number of other things I could do to improve this situation, but I'm going to reserve that for next episode. With this episode, I really wanted to focus on this neighborhood, and I think what I'm going to work on next episode is I want to get into some rural land over here. So I have a super high industrial demand. I want to start to plop down some farms and to provide some more jobs, different kinds of jobs for the people in town. And hopefully with those additional jobs, we'll get some more residential demand, and then we can fix this not enough customers issue that we're seeing. And actually off camera, I should mention this as well. I built this little neighborhood here in an attempt to bring even more people into town and, you know, to try to fix this not enough customers issue. But everything's just at a standstill right now. And I think we'll just have to wait until we provide more jobs to entice people to come back to town. So with this neighborhood pretty much being complete, I'm just going to maybe add a few more little details. Let's go with some wild bushes, and I'm going to maybe I'll do like adult little bushes. I mistakenly placed some palm trees around this neighborhood a little earlier in the episode without setting them to adult, so they're little baby palm trees. I think I might just place more in adult form. So maybe a couple of Florida palms. Yeah, just make sure these are adult size. Are they even coming in? Oh yeah. These Florida palms are pretty short anyways, so. Actually, let me boost this strength up to 100%. There, let's add some trees all around these homes. Now, I don't want to add too many trees because I don't want this to be forested, because this is like an artificial island, right? An artificial piece of land. So just some small bushes and stuff to give the area a bit more depth. But yeah, guys, overall, I'm pretty content with this neighborhood. If there was one thing I would change, though, is I would make the canals maybe a little less wide. I think they're a little too wide for this kind of neighborhood. But looking at Google Maps, I mean, there's all kinds of different canals in Florida, all different shapes and sizes. So I guess this is not too unrealistic. But yeah, I think that's really the only thing I would change with this whole area. But I mean, overall, I think it's pretty cool. But let me know down in the comments, guys, what you think, and give me any suggestions on how I should develop future neighborhoods in the town of Gasparilla and its surrounding neighborhoods. So I'm going to wrap things up, guys. I really appreciate you watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, give it a like, leave a comment down below, let me know what you think, and certainly don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get notified of future uploads. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and see you in the next one.